Sorry about that. Okay, take 2. Or part 2. I'm not starting over again. It's my journal entry. And so I was very, very grateful how they had taken care of everything and got me to the hospital, and they didn't even leave me in the waiting room. They just took me straight on back and started hooking me up to everything, started doing the tests. And here's the thing that I thought was pretty wild. They go to draw blood through the IV, and I'm looking down at my IV and the blood being drawn, and I'm telling you, it was black. It was so dark red, it was black. I said, why is my blood black? And she giggled and she says, ma'am, your blood's not black. It is very dark, but it's not black. I said, well, it looks black to me. And then when she was complete, drawing all the blood she needed, my blood was red again. Interesting. Very interesting. In my little opinion. Well, my brain went to a few places. Not necessarily my brain. My brain caught up with my body, you could say. I felt something different. Anyway, like, yeah, get all that toxic schmuck out of me, right? So they take me for all my tests and whatnots and everything. Even the 2 H's. The hematocrit and the red blood cell counts. Everything was normal. Is normal. Everything is normal. I'm like, isn't this interesting? So I looked at the doctor. He's kind of a younger fella. I looked at the doctor and I said, so you're telling me it's all in my head? And he giggles and he goes, no, I'm not saying that. I said, well, this is something that's been going on for a while, off and on for a while now. So, I'm okay with it. I said, if you want to tell me it's all in my head, I'm okay with that. I'll keep working my head, and keep working with the VA. And he says, I'll keep working with your doctor. There's, I'm not telling you that what you're feeling is wrong or that there's nothing going on, but in an emergency room setting and in our protocols, everything is normal. There's none of your organs are shutting down. There's, nothing like that. So, but keep working with your doctor. Keep following up with your doctor, and so forth. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, it's time to get back. Well, my VA representative, who said that medical transport would return me back to my apartment, was wrong. And so I have this huge cry, and I find myself rocking back and forth in the chair going, oh my gosh. And there's no way in my condition that I can walk the 2 miles back, especially not in the middle of the afternoon in 104 or 5 degree temperatures. And then, I've got to get into a cab or into an Uber. And who are these people? Is it going to be a male? Is it going to be a female? My whole MST, PTSD thing started acting up, and I'm going, just having a fit. And I'm witnessing myself having this fit going, who the fuck are you? who the fuck are you? You know, I just got done sharing with the doctor that, you know, I've traveled the country by myself, and, you know, what the? Come on, Rashini. Hut, hut. Let's go. Thank you. So, come on. Hut, hut. Thank you. So I'm like, wow, okay. Where's all this coming from, right? But I had just gotten done telling the doctor, you know, I was this strong, badass, wild woman. And I says, and, you know, I'm getting my strength back, but it's almost like sometimes I'm getting better and sometimes I'm getting worse in my strength and all the symptoms and this and that. And I said, you know, I want my badassery back. And I said, if it's something as simple as a tick-borne illness, well, you know, let's fix this shit. So, basically he said, keep following up with your doctor. But that there was, you know, there's not really a whole lot. There's nothing emergency-wise. So, I'm releasing you. And I got this wild twang down my left side. And he's like, let me send you for another CT scan. This time we'll do your abdomen. So they did my abdomen. So I had my abdomen checked, my chest checked, my head checked. I mean, they did a CT scan on my brain because some of the symptoms I was showing him, I guess, was like maybe a possible stroke. So got the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards. The only thing that they weren't able to test me on is the tick-borne illnesses, because that's the CDC. So, you know, I contacted the VA and I'm asking them, you know, why did you not start me on doxycycline? You know, I have a cousin who works closely with the CDC, and that is protocol. It's protocol to start on doxycycline even before the test results. You know, if you're sending them blood, you start them on doxycycline. Well, and it's very inexpensive. It is very inexpensive to medication. Well, because my white blood count isn't low, they weren't going to start me on it. Even though my dog was diagnosed and he's got his. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I had gone to the vet office. That's when it all started. That's when I knew, but I wanted to make sure and get Rashini to the vet. And I even called a sister on my way back from the vet's office just to make sure I made, you know, to talk to me with her soothing voice, just to make sure I made it back to the apartment safely, to call 911. So, no, we did not go to the park. We stopped at the park very briefly and then went to the vet office. And of course, at the vet office, somehow, a simple blood work, which, you know, they had done when I took him in for his visit. That's how they discovered he had the anaplasma. But somehow, a simple blood work, not even an exam or anything like that, turned out to be twice as much as his last visit, with everything else that he had gotten and received. And I'm standing there going, are you kidding me? You discovered it with a simple blood work, and now you're wanting to retest him to make sure we got it. And it's costing twice as much. We didn't even see the doctor, the veterinarian. I'm like, really? Well, you know, with buying the vehicle and the insurance and all the other stuff going on, it's like, wow, you know, this really kind of hurts the pocketbook in a way. And I said, did you put on my veteran discount? Oh, we don't do veteran discount. I said, yes, you do. I got a discount the last time. And so they called the office manager back, and she's pulling things up. And of course, I'm giving her my 2 cents, and she's like, ma'am, I can only do what I can do. And I says, I understand, but I'm just letting y'all know this is insanity. And, you know, basically made my voice known, made my voice heard. But it sent me into, you know, that's when the symptoms really started coming up. Getting back to the apartment, calling 911, getting into the hospital, getting all of the tests done. Getting back, I ended up downloading Uber, and bless her heart, the nurse there, her name was Virginia. She was a sweetheart, absolute sweetheart. I've never been taken care of so beautifully in an emergency room. Between her and Angel, who was the gentleman taking me back and forth my test, he really was an angel, just the cutest thing. And he was blushing because he was like, really? And I'm going, yes, you are just wonderful. You are an angel. And then the doctor, he was amazing. Just the whole experience and the team, it was just a really beautiful, beautiful experience, despite the conditions, which, as far as I'm concerned, I have gotten a complete workup, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with this body according to all of the medical tests. And so I'm like, and the last thing I said to the doctor, I said, well, it's all in my head. And I said, and I'm okay with that because I can change my head. Which is all the subconscious, unconscious bullshit that comes up, you know, that's all in the collective. But I get back, and Rashini was ecstatic to see me, and we snuggled and snuggled and snuggled and snuggled and snuggled. And a sister of mine had been sending him Reiki to help keep him calm, because it was literally the first time I've left him. We have not been by each other's side. First time I have left him. Well, since the last time they took me to the hospital, but, you know, NCHP had him. But before that, it was when I left for the Peace and Dignity journey. So, as far as I'm concerned, that dark, blackish blood, it took all that shit out of me. But now, here I am, and it was like, okay, well, no cheese, no this, no that, you know, as far as iron levels, to keep those iron levels up. But, you know, I eat all that good stuff. And I have cheated, you could say. I'm a chegan. I cheat periodically and have cheese. And I was going to celebrate because I had gotten all my paperwork back. Official. I broke the curse of the women in my ancestral line. Completely free. I had gotten the official paperwork from the judge. And so I'm like, yes, let's celebrate. Well, that's when the H&H blood work had shown up. I was going to order a pizza and ginger beer, right? And oh, sorry, Rashini, can't do that. So, we ate the good stuff. But here we are, back from the hospital. And I did a couple of meditations with Rashini. And had a 2, almost 3 hour conversation with a sister. And one of the things I absolutely love is we keep it in the bubble, and because it is good to speak with someone that you can really, really trust. You keep it in the bubble and vent. And so we are able to do that with each other. And I think she sent me a little message. She's like, it's almost like a respite, having a respite with each other, and just, and my chest opened back up. I mean, because even when I left the hospital, they had given me 4 aspirin. They had little baby aspirin. Rashini, given. Thank you. They'd given me 4 aspirin and a nitroglycerin. And, but no, it's all still there. What are they doing now? Pulling out trees? Holy cow. Okay, yeah, that's my judgment. Please forgive me. So, we need to go this way, baby. I'm not quite fully recovered yet. Come on, I'm sorry. Let's go. Rashini. Hey. Thank you. Thank you. I got you down here to the park, baby. Come on. Thank you. I'll put you on leash here in a second. Keep up with me. So we do my meditation and some Reiki and fall asleep, and woke up this morning, and I always drink this great big glass of water first thing, because usually when you wake up, you are considered in a dehydration state. So before the coffee, before anything else, it's a huge, big old glass of water. Wow, did that come back up right back up. And I'm like, ooh. So I drink another glass of water. Because I'm like, I'm not sick or anything. What's this all about? I drank another glass of water. It came right back up. So I Google, why can't I keep water down? Dehydrated. I'm like, really? Well, it made sense, because they don't hook you up to IVs. They don't start you on an IV anymore at the hospital. And I was given 1 glass of water the whole time I was there. Yes, I drank some fluids when I got back, and I ate my beans and my Ezekiel bread. But, and the apartment just isn't cooling off. And so, yeah, I had sweated all night. So you put the two together, and it was like, yeah, I'm dehydrated. So, there was I apologize. So there's come on. So there's the beautiful little lesson of taking small sips every 15 minutes to start getting your hydration back and to do broth. Well, I just happen to have vegetable broth, so I've been drinking vegetable broth. There was no way I was going to get on the fire ceremony and so forth. So yeah, it's been an interesting period. And then, come on. So, no real wisdom or whatnot here, but basically, and there's this throat thing again. Sister of mine picked up on that too. Like, you're doing a lot of that throat clearing and like you're trying to get your voice back again. I'm like, yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how. And even when I tried it as a kid, I was called out on it because I'm very expressive. I just, there's a part of me that just is like, fuck it all, fuck it all, fuck it all. What really am I fighting for? I'm fighting for my freedom. And I'm frightened to enjoy life. Just enjoy this beautiful life we've been given. With no restrictions, with no whatever. Well, I am free. I feel free. I feel free. I feel free. But above and beyond that, my only other freedom that I would really love to see is all the other animals. Release them from the cages and the prisons and the bullshit that we've put them through. I don't know what the whole thing is about. It's not for me to know. It's just for me to continue to do the steps laid out before me. And well, that's been go to the hospital and get rid of the black blood and send it on its way and love on my dog, enjoy the trees and nature. And let everybody else do the same. So I left the 8th fire. The 8th fire chat, that is. I'm still a carrier of the ashes. I will still continue to do the ceremony. But I left that chat and that whole thing. Back down of all of that. Oh my God, Gilbert. Everybody's in a hurry. Heaven have mercy. We're all in a hurry to get nowhere. Stoplight. I'm different. I love stoplights. I get to stop and breathe and just be until the light turns gray again. Here we go. So wasn't gonna go anywhere this morning, but he's the little chief. I'm like, okay, chief, we were gonna go down just to the little park. No, take me to the river. Okay, took me to the river. Get back. Didn't have my wetsuit on, so spray myself with a little bit of stuff to keep so I could at least enjoy it a little bit. There's all that construction and destruction. Plus the other seven comets or meteors or whatever you want to call them. Swans making her little transit. That's so cool. But I listened to Stefan and another woman. I can't remember her name. I think her name's Dolores. She's pretty well known in the astrology world, and was listening to them, and I'm going, well, yeah. And I'm like, I'm with you, Dolores. I've been feeling it for, well, actually quite a few years. It's happening. I remember saying that stuff back in 2011 when I was on doing the workshops, going, This is good shit. This is good shit. I mean, yeah. Do you want to see people in pain? Do you want to see things blowing up? Do you want to, see all of this different stuff? And it's like, well, it hurts. No. I mean, I have compassion. However, we are eternal beings. We're part of the eternal being. So they're volunteers, as my dad would say. There are no victims. We're all volunteers. So thank you for volunteering to be a part of that. For all of us being a part of it. Yes. There's feelings to process. There's sadness. There's this, there's that. However, we're evolving. The Homo luminous, as many, and we had termed it way back then, the Homo luminous, and no longer Homo sapiens. Homo luminous. It is time for us to evolve. It is time for us to evolve. So, yes, there's the crying fits, there's the screaming fits, there's the are you fucking kidding me fits, all of that stuff. All of that stuff. And yes, we have compassion, but we are bringing back in that real true love that we are. The real love. The harmony with our mother. When they say heal the relationship with your mother, it's not all about your biological mother. It's about the Mother Earth. And listening to her. So if you're listening to the government and officials and all that bullshit, well, good luck. But if you're listening to the mother and you're following her and going, and dropping all those crazy ass beliefs that we have, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. So I'm gonna stop this and continue on here. Love your mother. Respect your mother. Make peace with your mother. Sorry about that. Love your mother. Make peace with your mother. Find your freedom with